Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Nordic Championship here at the Monster Energy DreamHack Studios. We have one more game to go today, and it is going to be Hybrid taking on Vipers Inc. Now, we just saw Team Singularity lose to Hillerod, and what this means is Vipers, providing they win this game, have locked themselves, at least for today, first place in the Nordic Championship. So it's really up to them to get this win here if you're Vipers, and they've been looking on form for the entirety of the season.
Yeah, but if you look at the scoreline of the teams going up against each other here, you absolutely favor Vipers. But Sharp and Priskanet have been just a force to be reckoned with. I think Sharp's addition to the roster has made a massive change. Now, that's not to criticize Jake. I think he was solid, but they really needed someone to just dictate the game, because other than that couple of wings they got playing Ziggs, they really didn't look that formidable. And I feel like a lot more confident about the roster now. They did lose a game last week, which was super close, but ultimately I feel like Sharp is really on point. Priskanet has been performing better when he's on these majors, and the rest of the roster has been sort of pulling their weight to play around that. Now, up against Vipers, it's a hard ask because this team's been really formidable. I think a big point for me is that we saw Hidden on the Rek'Sai, which isn't a champion I usually attribute to him, and he had a great performance. So it's a big ask, but Hybrid need the wins right now. They are sitting at 3 points. Even if they win all 4 of their matches for this week and next week, they are not guaranteed playoffs. But they need to do that to give themselves the best chances.
And we look at what Vipers have dropped games to. They've lost one game to Bifrost. That was when Bifrost were in that kind of earlier, more kind of like, what are they going to do kind of phase.
Plus Hidden inted really hard.
And Hidden inted real hard.
He's looked way better recently.
Yeah. And then their other game they lost to was Team Singularity, who, you know, were the first seed for a while and, you know, have been a team that have been comparative to Vipers. So I'm really excited for this game because we're going to find out what the hell's going on and who's going to be first. Obviously, like I said, Hybrid 3-7. So you feel like this is going to be a pretty easy win here for Vipers, but then we thought the same thing about the last game, so you never know. Obviously, Vipers haven't got a substitute in there, so there's stuff like that to keep in mind.
No. Lockett did show up in the lobby for a couple of seconds and said he was going to play top for Vipers. But no, they have their full roster, full strength. Paulson in the mid lane. I think this guy looks like an absolute monster. I think it's going to be Sharp and Priskanet need to shut him down because he has been just so good from day one. And I think a massive driving force in the success of Vipers. I think Lundorf, after he got moved off on duty, started to really show up. Then Voxney and Bieber Bully have both had great games. Hidden, yes, there was that rough one on the Gragas, but he's vastly improved since then. But Paulson, he has just been a monster. And it really, I think this guy just so formidable in his own right. And considering we're in a league with so many stacked mid laners, we have Legions, we have Energy, we have Priskanet, we have Krogson, we have Niter, and this guy's managed to just still look like such a formidable opponent.
I'm just going to have a little look at what tomorrow's games are as well, because we got Vipers taking on Dusty. Dusty are currently 3rd in the league, so definitely a more challenging game for them. Thank you very much for bringing up tomorrow's schedule. So Dusty will be taking on Vipers, which will be a definitely a closer game than this one on paper. And then Team Singularity, the other team currently looking for first, will be taking on Bifrost. Now, Bifrost are a lot further down in the standings, currently in 6th place and have been on a bit of a loss streak for a little while. So Vipers, they need to win today and they need to win tomorrow to remain ahead of the curve and in that first spot coming out of this second to last week of the regular season.
But for me, I think the bigger thing is what Hybrid need to do, because they have a game tomorrow against Orlando. That's not really too hard of an ask for them. Orlando have been struggling. But then the next day is against Dusty, currently on a win streak. And then week 2, day 2, is going to be up against Hellerod, who we just saw have a strong performance before. So I feel like if they drop this game, it really starts to become do or die. You have to win every game from then on out if you want to even have a hope of making playoffs. It's not guaranteed. It's going to come down to other match results as well. So it's a rough ask. It starts here. Hybrid need this win if they want to keep a clear route to the playoffs. They added Sharp to try and make that a reality, but it was very late in the split.
All right, well, the bans are starting to start up here. We've seen the Nunu taken away from Hidden. Pretty much standard as far as it goes at this point here in the Nordic Championship. Don't want to give him that comfort pick. Followed up by a Senna. So not going to be seeing any kind of AFK farming Soul Senna like we did in our first 2 games. Once again, is going to be denied here by Vipers and Hybrid. What are they looking to ban now?
Taking the Gangplank away from Lundov. It's something he's had monster performances on. Recently, it's been Gangplank, Renekton are the big ones for him. And I feel like Renekton, there's more of avenues to punish that champion. Obviously, in the later stages of the game, isn't as formidable. Whereas Gangplank, there's a clear power curve and he gets very strong. Now, Viper's going to go for that Ornn, take that one off the cards. Obviously, a big, powerful pick. Could be flexed, but typically would see Kakan play in that one. And being 10.4, Ornn is super strong right now with the Sunfire changes, so no real surprises.
Okay, well, Hybrid. Last ban's going to be the Tom Kench here. So is there a reason for that? Or
Viva Bully, 100% win rate on Tom Kench.
That'll be why.
In the Nordics. And I think it's something that allows Denvoxney to play these mobile AD carries like the Aphelios that we saw last game be monstrous. And he just remains untouched. It makes it extremely hard to challenge him. And I think my best game from Axis was when he was playing the Leona and he was able to consistently hard engage. And I think removing champions that deny that really sets him up for success.
Well, things like that Fresh is still open, available here. It looks like Hybrid, they want to try and see if they can get their hands onto that Aphelios. We saw it was capable of doing last game. We've seen what it's been capable of doing pretty much the entirety of its existence as a champion in the game. As that is going to be the pickup there for Merbs. Now, what's the answer? We've seen Denvoxney kind of tend towards the likes of the Varus as well, and think when some of these kind of top tier AD carries are taken away.
For him, Varus is a big pick, but Misfortune is still open as an option, which is perfectly viable. There's not huge pressure to take it now, but it definitely wouldn't reveal as many cards if you potentially want to leave something for that third pick for a counter. But Syndra being left open is an obvious one for Paulson. It's what he played last week, and oh boy, was he monstrous on that pick. So instantly sets him up for success, and it's a big threat towards Merbs already on this Aphelios. They can take the AD carry here. They can leave it for the next rotation of picks, but ultimately they probably want to secure it before the next rotation of bans. Otherwise, they'll really start to disrupt the pool a little bit. But you could just take the jungler here. Hidden could take something aggressive to pair up, or just go for the set for Lundov. So feeling the pool being sort of thinned out a bit with the Gangplank and the Ornn gone. He's going to take that, and Viper's heavily prioritizing the solo laners already here.
All right, well, Hybrid, they can look to pick up something safe for the Aphelios. They can pick up the Braum, they can pick up the Fresh, something like that if they want. But like you said, Axis also really good on these high engaged champions like the Leona. I do feel like the safety that the Fresh offers,
I think,
plus
as well with
a tad of engage as well is very nice.
I think as well with the Tom ban, it very much speaks to me that they're going to pick up the Thresh here. I think if you were going to take the Braum, you wouldn't be too concerned about the Tom Kench. So they take that Thresh, secure that one to offer an element of safety to Merbs, and still has that playmaking potential for Axis available. Now the question is going to be, and it's going to be the Ziggs, something that was left open, slipped through the bans, and this is something that Hybrid had great success on earlier in the split. Since then, we saw it banned consistently. It's a big pick for Priskanet, especially against immobile carries. We have the Syndra already, which is someone you can threaten with that ultimate, but also can challenge the bot lane. If Denvoxney goes for something like the Varus, you can definitely look to shut that one down. And typically, Denvoxney likes to play the lane of Varus. Braum has a lot of strength. They may ban this away, but Braum does very little against Ziggs because the ultimate still goes through. The AoE can still proc and cause that damage. We're going to see the Elise for Hidden, so super early pressure, a lot of focus around these solo laners. And this is a big pick for Hidden. Something he's leaned on heavily. I'd say it's the fastest pace pick we typically see from him, because normally he leans on stuff like Skarner, the Gragas, the Nunu. And allows them to have that early pressure and threaten the enemy side. I think they need a bit of scaling elements in their bot lane if they're going to try and win out late. But to be honest, they don't win out late. Already, you look at Ziggs and Aphelios. This is a game where Viper's going to take the game in their control, and they're going to be looking to accelerate the pace and win this one out early to mid game, because you go late against Ziggs Aphelios, you're not having fun.
Scaling is not an option now. Vipers looking to see if they can just ban away some of these junglers. You expect Hybrid to ban away into the AD carry, or at least that bot lane pool as they take away the Braum. Don't want to give her any safety, but like you're saying, you can't block the Ziggs, so only blocking some stuff, but they still don't want to deal with it. Don't want to be playing with that now.
Still getting into Aphelios.
Yes. Now, what do Vipers pick up as their next ban? I expect to see more bans towards Sharp in the jungle. What does well into the Elise? What can we see typically get banned away?
I mean, yeah, Gragas does okay. Lee Sin's okay because he has the mobility to sort of evade you to a degree. It's really just what do you want to do? If you want to match early pressure, you have options like the Lee Sin is a viable one. Rek'Sai can potentially work. It's just sort of where you want to extend that level of pressure. There are junglers that will outscale it. You could play the Sejuani and just look to be that big beefy wall later on, but I feel like that's probably not a good choice here, given that you want some melee pressure. I think it all depends, but Vipers...
I actually like that Rakan because we know Demvoxney will play the Zyra Rakan lane as well. So
true, and it's risen in priority a lot. This is something that's come back in Resurgence massively with the nerfs to everything else. And this is a very much a pick that says, yeah, we're not scaling. Looking to match, actually.
Oh, it's Syndra bot lane.
Yeah, so we've talked about this flex endlessly. We've talked about this flex so much, and it hasn't happened until now. This is the first time we're seeing this flex. Putting the Orianna mid, so having a mage versus mage matchup, quite a bit of scaling to match against the Ziggs, can also catch him out with the ultimate, and then putting the Syndra bot lane. So a lot of playmaking potential and burst there to threaten. Oh, so you see, so
having a quick old remake on the lobby.
I had an issue with draft, but ultimately this kind of changes to add a little bit more scaling over to the side of Vipers.
So I don't actually think that was a real Orianna.
Okay. We get to talk about the flex.
Let's hold and see exactly what's going on, but it looks like there was a bug on the side of Demvoxney there, so we'll wait and see exactly what's going on. But
we're finally we can
talk to me about it. Let's say it's actually happening, Orcs. I know you've been waiting for this moment.
Strength of the Syndra in the bot lane is you have a huge amount of kill pressure. Is a nice one with a level 6. And then the other avenue to that is also that you can blow up waves almost instantly. You permanently can have priority. You can permanently reset the wave. If you want to shove it in, you can do it in a quick rotation. Now, the difficulty is Syndra is sometimes vulnerable to enemy sort of dive. Obviously, you look at the other mages frequently played in the bot lane. You have your Vigor with the cage, you have your Ziggs with your satchel. Syndra only has a Scatter the Weak, which is one direction. So often you see it paired up with a Thresh to offer that lantern for an element of safety. But that wasn't to come in here because it was already on the other side. So maybe we won't see the Syndra go in the bot lane because of that, but I think that's one of the big strengths of it. You can also see it work well with the Leona. You layer the CC and have a ton of burst potential available.
Well, they're going to redo picks and bans pretty much up to that point, so nice and easy. I do want to get confirmation, was the Syndra real, the Orianna a real pick, or was that, that the bug?
I think that was the bug, because Vipers were the one who ended the draft and said it was their problem, so...
Yeah.
That will likely be switched out. Everything else will be the same. Hopefully, we can fly through this quickly. And
It's going to take ages to do the picks and bans.
You know, it's actually hard. I've been in this position. You're trying to remember, like, what do we ban where?
Does the coach not write it down?
Why would you write it down?
Kind of as a point of reference for future stuff as well.
Okay, right. So you can spend this entire point writing down the whole draft while you're doing it and trying to focus.
All I'm saying is Frozen Dawn used to do it.
Or you wait until after the draft and you take a picture.
You could have done that, sure.
That's what you do. Just like, you know, when drafts ended, take a picture, boom, there, got a screenshot. Throw it into a document. You have a ton of them. You can even translate it. You can write it down afterwards.
Yeah, but you might just write it down a little bit, right? Surely just so you can visualize stuff. I don't know, man.
I mean, maybe if he's not spectating, then sure.
Yeah, because they're not. But so if he's not in the room. Discord. True.
So
yeah,
you
might be right. That. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, if you're not, you know, maybe you want to write it down. If to embrace like Lee Sin, you've blindfolded yourself and you want to like visualize it.
True, like Zen coach.
Exactly.
Just blindfolds himself. Blindfolds pick and ban.
Yeah, maybe. I'll have to ask. I haven't heard of a coach doing that yet, but
if you're a coach and you blindfold yourself with pick and ban, please get in touch with me or Orcs over on Twitter.
I have seen some drafts that look like they were drafted blindfolded. I will say that.
Maybe drunk as well.
Potentially, but these two, I feel like
I've seen some insane drafts though, like the Garen top with Ignite. Like
so
actually
smart.
Creme de la creme. That was
beautiful. I thought there was one point the enemy team was going to come back. I saw a little bit of healing. Ignite.
Yeah, like.
So it is going to be the Ezreal, which I kind of thought it gives them a lot of early pressure. This is Viper saying, we're going to go early. We're going to go toe-to-toe with you. We're going to challenge
mid,
you.
By the way.
Shut up. Just shut up. Just stop. Right? I hate you so much.
I really hope
we're gonna look to go heavy focus around early aggression, snowball into the mid game, and deliver from there. And for Sharp, Likely going to see the Lee Sin, something that can go toe-to-toe with the Elise. Obviously have the execute damage. It's a bit hard because the Elise is stronger, like level 3. But you can kind of match that pressure around the map. And they have this set into Aatrox, this typical top lane matchup. So we'll see what the support's going to be for Bebop Bully. Could go the Yuumi in this situation. It is open and available.
Yeah, it could do, actually.
But it doesn't offer the same sort of pressure we expected from their composition so far. So it would make more sense to go for the Blitzcrank here.
It's the Blitzcrank.
And this is something that directly answers into Thresh, because it's very easy when Thresh goes for a hook. You can use your rocket grab him when he's immobilized by that. So you have the opportunity to punish in that regard.
Okay. This is quite exciting. Blitzcrank Ezreal. But this is what you were hitting on earlier. They have opted out of scaling. This is very much Vipers need to win mid and snowball the game out of Hybrid's control.
Yep.
Because Mervs will just take over the game like we saw in the last game.
And not even just Mervs, Priskana as well. Ziggs, so strong late game. We saw that from Hoyes, who hit late game at like 20 minutes. But the damage on that champion is really something else.
Yeah, we've seen both an Aphelios and a Ziggs pop off today. They're both playing bot lane, but this time we're seeing the Ziggs go to the mid lane. Now combine those. That's what we're looking at this game.
Yeah, a lot of scaling. And I think the interesting thing to watch is going to be Sharp, okay? Because he is the early game proponent who has to try and mitigate the aggression coming out from Vipers and just get them to the later stage of the game where their scaling starts to kick in. Because I think it's an inevitability. If they get to, say, 25 minutes and they're even, they are in a great spot to sort of take this one over. We got Priskanet again in the Ziggs, which is a huge one. Mirbs on this Aphelios with the potential just to carry. But it's difficult. You're facing up against Elise Syndra, a hugely strong combo. You have sort of like an even top lane, but if you start to move members up there, they can punish the Aatrox and bot lane. Axis, if he oversteps, will get punished.
Yeah, a single hook really can just spell a safe bot lane. Even if a hook lands on Axis or Mervs and they have to flash away, they don't die. They don't have to play with pure safety in mind because they're going to get constantly poked out by the Ezreal every time they step up for a wave or, it's very scary playing into Blitzcrank. And then I guess the one thing you hit on when we had a Blitzcrank earlier on today as well was, sure, the scaling's there, but that one God hook could be the difference maker, even if the game does not quite go the way Vipers want it to early.
Especially against the Ziggs. Because Ziggs, he's like huge threat, wave clear, hard to threaten, hard to punish. But if you find that grab onto him, that can just completely turn things in your favor, blow up the potential for a Ziggs just to wave clear and really throw the game on a tilt.
Well, we've taken to the Rift. Hybrid taking on Vipers. Vipers playing for first. If they do lose this, they still remain tied for first versus Team Singularity, but a clean and simple win here. And tomorrow secures them first place. And then there's only 1 week left to go. It's kind of sad, really. It's been very fun coming out there to Sweden.
How does this... Oh, wait, do they play against Singularity tomorrow?
No, next week they play versus Singularity.
And how does that secure them first place?
If they win tomorrow...
Yeah.
No, I mean, sorry, coming out this week. They're not, not cemented.
We're going up to playoffs. You got to be careful using that terminology.
Oh, okay.
Right. When you say secures first place, that means first place for playoffs.
I actually did say, just as a note, you weren't listening. I said secures first place coming out of this week.
Okay, but what if the people weren't listening to you? Because, let's be honest,
why wouldn't they be listening to me? I hate... It's actually not going to reset, so that's fine.
It slows them down a little cheeky. If you can wait for longer, it does it better. But actually, you see a little bit of zoning has come out, and a minion has died already, a melee minion. So I think they froze up the wave, aggroed it, so it killed that first minion, and now Vipers.
Next one.
I mean, it's not about missing the CS, the gold. It's about the XP. So now, typically, to get level 2 in bot lane, you need the full first wave and then 3 melee minions. If you miss 1 melee, you then need those 3 melee for the next wave and 2 casters. So the level 2 is so heavily delayed for Vipers that there is very little threat. They'll be able to shove this wave into tower and let it bounce, even at a slow pace, because there's no real threat of Bebop Bully going for a rocket grab when he doesn't have the follow-up.
And also a fairly large wave crashing into him. It's harder to land that when you've got to then reposition around those minions, and Merbs can just play nice and safe behind his wave.
Yeah, and it's pretty... They do now hit it there. They get the level 2.
You can see an invade comes out from Lundorf just to spot out where about Sharp is on the map. Sharp heading towards the bot side. You can see Voxney seeing if he can steal away something. Poulsen early is going to have a bit of
Sharp
power.
though, or is Sharp found Hidden?
We'll have to find out. Hidden's used a lot of his abilities, gets himself a kickoff. I didn't see who picked that up, as the bouncing bomb goes a little bit wide. Hidden gets flashed onto by Sharp, and
Yeah, it was Hidden, got that with the smite. So he gets the big one, and Sharp chases him out, but doesn't actually clear up the camp, so that's not going to reset right now. He's looking to try and get this scuttle while Hidden is forced away, but Hidden wants to contest him. Priority in favor of Hybrid, but contest coming in.
yeah, it looks like the Vipers are trying to pincer over here. They're not going to be able to find their hook. Doesn't matter though, they steal away the crab. Hidden can be very happy with that one. He might just beeline towards the top side and get the second crab for himself as well.
The thing was, with that shove in and the bounce back, it meant that a massive wave had built up and was crashing into Hybrid. No way they contest. They were a level down. Right now, Priskanet, he's being threatened here. The wave is in a bad spot, shoved out. And try and contest at range with a bouncing bomb, but ultimately he needs to reset. He's not being afforded. Lundorf gets chunked, but does have that passive healing to sort of make it back. Not sure if he used the Haymaker earlier there. No, it's still available. I think he was saving it in case things turned around.
Yeah, he's going to have to use it fairly soon here as he's taking some serious damage from Kakan. Misses out. And now Kakan looked for some Darkened Blades, although Hidden spotted out on a ward. Has already scried it out though, so we'll clear it away. Lundorf just wants to shove this wave in and maybe see if he can find some kind of a base, because a couple more Darkened Blades could be really dangerous for him. He's got the Deathbringer stance, so the extended range on that auto attack as well.
He's able to play with fire a bit because of that passive healing. Obviously, you do hit him. Boxer Doran Shield gets him a little bit more sustain. Pritzkin, again, he's in a difficult spot. He knows that Hidden's on the top side, so he's calling Sharp in. He needs to shove this in and reset. He has actually already TP'd in. It's not the reset. Actually, no, he just walked back lane. It's not the reset he needs. It's just the wave hitting the tower, crashing and resetting.
Yeah, Poulsen on the Syndra does a pretty decent job of dealing with the wave. Crashes that out. Voxney now just farming away in the bot side of the map. Bebop hasn't really been able to find too much in. Remember, we were talking about timers in this game.
See ya.
Could you imagine if he hooked him there, though? Pulls him all the way over.
I would have a lantern, so wouldn't be...
Could be a long old lantern. Lundorf going for a fight here. Haymaker can get dodged out. Lundorf gets pulled in with the Infernal Chains, but...
Kakan doing really well in the top lane, and coming into the split, everyone was saying how Kakan up there at the top in terms of top laners, and I didn't really see it come out for him during the games. But he's going up against Lundorf on top 2 team in Vipers, and he's been a really strong performer for them, and he's beaten them in this matchup that we have said time and time again is a neutral matchup. It kind of comes down to the skill difference. Now, it was the fact he managed to actually shove it in, get a reset off, and then come back to lane. Actually, no, he's just resetting. I'm losing track.
It's okay, man.
He's come back to lane now after the reset, but it's the fact that he's just managed to out-trade him so hard. Lundorf is actually forced to use a TP. Khan is able to walk back up top lane after shoving it in and getting the reset. I got there in the end.
Now, we see Lundorf does pick himself up the Bramble Vest. This is typical pick up into the Aatrox. Can cut some of that healing. I do want to note, though, Hybrid up 100 gold. I know it's not massive, but like you said, if kind of 26 minutes comes and Hybrid are equal to Vipers, they're very happy with that state.
Yeah, absolutely. Hybrid holding on okay. Vipers are start stacking up dragons, and often that can be a turning point. If you get to the later stage of the game and you have a soul on the cards, an earlier elder as well, it can help the team who aren't going to scale as much. Right now, Priskanet, he's going to try freeze this one in front. He's a little bit down in gold by about 200 compared to Poulsen, largely in part due to the CS discrepancy. It's only 10 that is there. And you can see a similar gap opened up in the top lane. Jungle actually pretty even, despite the fact that Hidden has managed to farm more camps. He's up in XP, though, which is a significant factor.
Yeah, Sharp was thinking about coming topside, doesn't actually go for it. That Haymaker did land though, so Kakan's going to take himself a little bit of poke damage.
And now with the Bramble Vest as well, Kakan could have gone the Executioner's Calling, invested instead for the CDR, but it's going to mitigate his healing and a lot of his damage up against Lundorf.
Oh! Okay. Oh! Okay, you got it.
He got it in the end.
That was painful.
Blue buff pretty big for a Ziggs. Obviously allows you just consistently shoving that wave, but now...
They're going in. Hidden's going to try and jump forward. They have already used the World Ender Hidden, waiting for that Cocoon, lining up the shot, predicted the flash, and it does not come to Veil.
Holding the nerve for Kakan. He expected it. Hidden tries to read the flash. Honestly, feel like maybe he could have just flashed himself to set it up.
Hidden didn't have flash. It's only just
only just go. Yeah, there you go. Nice spot. So ultimately not able to find the kill. Looks for the Cocoon. And Kakan doesn't even bin his flash there is the big thing. So it's Lundorf trading down in summoners for that play. So pretty big win for Hybrid.
Bebop looking for the hook.
Oh, great flash. I love that from Theshes. When they throw the lantern, flash to gain the extra distance. It's essentially giving your AD carry an extra summoner and using your own.
Does mean that won't be the end of Merbs. Then Hybrid just doing a really good job of kind of controlling Viper's kind of earlier aggression. And that's Sharp. He's going to be able to get himself some priority on this top side of the map because of Kakan's power. And they're going to get himself a Rift Herald here. So this actually will accelerate the gold lead here for Hybrid.
Pretty favorable. And I mean, when the scaling team is up in gold, it's not a good omen. I mean, it is for the scaling team, but less so for the team who've gotten a lease.
And you hit on how this is one of Hidden's kind of faster-paced champions. It's something we've been seeing him pick up more and more here in the Nordic Championship. And it's not really been able to find too much here yet. As Lundorf going for a light trade with Kakan. Obviously, power of that Bramble Vest just means he's going to win these fights at this point.
With no Executioner's Calling, I mean, to be honest, the thing with the set is that the healing isn't bursty. That's the difference here, is that the Aatrox will look to heal off you in a fight, whereas it's the long-term healing.
Ooh, but Axis looks to follow up here. Bebop gets himself the rocket jump up. Axis takes a lot of damage to True Shot Barrage as Pulsed finds first blood. The Unleashed Power is going to turn it back around though. It's a 1-for-2 already. They're on top of a minefield and a stun will connect into Mers, but they do send them packing. Vipers bite back.
Yeah, Hybrid commit to that fight and it backfires massively, handing over a free one essentially to Vipers, who are looking so rough in this early phases of this game, considering the momentum they need to have. Ultimately, Hidden manages to get away with his life. We do see he's gone for the Sork boots, straight upgrade instead of the Runic Echoes. And what that usually suggests is that he is not looking to farm. The magic pen from the boots isn't a factor when farming jungle camps, really, and in this situation, you are picking that pen for the early spike, the damage on enemy champions. And it's him saying, look, I've kind of missed the pre-6 mark with the lease, but I'm still looking to try and find advantages for my team because I know game's on a timer.
And every kill, every dragon just inches that timer back a little bit more. So Lundorf now, he's starting to win this matchup versus Kakan. Kakan had a great start, but as soon as that Bramble Vest came through, it just really shut down the power they had. Now Sharp with this Rift Herald in his pocket is looking to try and plop it down here. Friskinet's roamed up as well as Lundorf actually just goes for a light trade. Bombs are going to come down, but ultimately going to miss a fair amount there as the Haymaker lands onto Lundorf. Friskinet doesn't really mind trading health bars here as he's just trading blows for the turret.
And the thing is, he just wants to satchel this, finish it off. It doesn't need much more damage than the Herald to get into the execute range. So he'll push up, play a little bit aggressive.
Oh, Lundorf might be dead here. Mega Inferno Bomb throws out the Haymaker. Kakan takes him down. That'll be the Dragon for a kill and first turret blood. Hybrid, they are back in it.
Yeah, huge win. And they're going to be able to snowball this goal lead now. Ooh. Vipers looking on the bot side of the map. They do have those two dragons working towards that soul, but ultimately not heavily in that favor. Satchel was down, so it took a while for that turret to go. But ultimately, they get all that gold in that pocket. The 1,300 up. They are being threatened on the bot side, so they have to be a little bit careful in this situation. But if the tower doesn't go down, they're still happy with this trade.
They're looking to see if they can make some kind of a dive happen towards this bot side of the map. You can see Hidden constantly waiting in the wings, looking for a kill. They're just farming Denvoxney up here. Get him as many plates as possible, get him as much pressure in this bot side as possible. 2 dragons for them now.
And Ziggs with Luden is now at the point where you don't have to interact with the Syndra. You can just clear the wave from a huge distance away, and you're not really threatened at all. You see, a little bit of a trap set for the Ziggs though, so if Friskanet stays safe, keeps farming from a distance, he'll be fine, but Hidden and Bebop Bully put the control ward down and potentially setting up for a play, but I think they realize Ziggs has now got blue buff. He has no qualms with just throwing abilities out.
Yep, he's just going to farm from a distance. As now they're looking to see if they can make that happen on the other side of the map. Mervs takes some damage from Den, and Den with the lethal tempo is going to do a fair amount of damage to this tower. He's just farming some gold up for himself at this point. Once he's got that Triforce, it's really going to be about him trying to see if he can make something happen as they get themselves the insect off. Hidden has to use the repel to jump away from everything. Bebop's making his way forward. Hidden tries to jump in forward, and Friskanet secures the kill. The teleport's even used by Lundorf.
Huge win for Hybrid. They get the TP on top of the kill onto the Elise. It's a nice clean kick from Sharp. Hidden unable to respond, and now they're going to push up mid. Paulson takes a little bit of damage from those mines. He does have the wave clear to deal with this situation, but we'll take a little bit of poke for it.
Yeah, got Loon's Echo of his own, so he can clear out these waves nice and easy. As Bebop's making his way back towards the bot lane, wants to try and join up with Den as quick as possible. As you can see, the Vipers were really expecting fighting. With the exhaust on the Ezreal, they were really kind of going, this is going to be a scrappy lane. And actually, it's been a fairly quiet lane. There's been a few fights here and there, but most of those were because of that jungle skirmish earlier on. This tower is going low. Den has now gone back, got himself the Sheen. Not going to be able to get that last plate, unfortunately, for him.
The tower's still in a vulnerable spot. It's 2 minutes till that dragon spawns, but Herald is going to be up sooner. And Sharp already had pretty good control on the top side in terms of the previous pressure he was applying, so he's looking towards there. The Vipers firmly set on securing this 3rd dragon. They want to try and get that soul. It's an earlier win condition, but Infernal Soul is pretty impactful. The burst from Paulson, Hidden, the poke from Denvoxney would go up drastically if they can secure this one. But for now, they're going to lean towards the spot lane tower. The answer from Hybrid is going to be the Herald. Now, I don't think they can push too much further because Kakana's there, and if he needs help, there's the Mega Inferno Bomb. And I think the response is just to get a bit of damage on this tower, soften it up a bit, so when the Herald comes in, potentially a Satchel from the Ziggs, they can just take it down freely. It is a Satchel max second for Ziggs, so it'll do a little more damage to towers. Now, the difference between the... Lundorf's in trouble.
Lundorf's in a lot of trouble here. He's going to have to dodge out on the hook. The Haymaker shield's big, and down comes the Mega Inferno Bomb. Not enough to find his mark. Paulson looking for a scatter.
Flash to flash. Sharp was looking for the kick, but Paulson manages to find some space away from it. They're going to reset in time for this dragon, but ultimately a lot sort of put forward by Hybrid to potentially threaten, but Vipers managed to survive without losing a member. But yeah, so... Friskanet, gotta be a little bit careful.
Yes, be very, very careful here. Throws the bombs out, misses out.
Actually,
the week. Paulson just gets chunked out.
But yeah, I mean, this is the thing with going Satchel max second. The mines are really good against...
Oh, Hidden! He's in trouble. He's gone up. He has nowhere to go. He has his flash. Flashes away. If he gets picked off here, that's massive. Kakana's the world ender for the movement speed. Kick lands by Sharp, and Sharp shuts him down. Paulson now is caught in a really, really rough spot. The Satchel will interrupt him just a short amount, and this actually should just be the dragon given over to Hybrid. But Hidden just getting completely caught off guard.
They're going to take the skull, but I think Sharp can just throw the Herald down mid, threaten that, and they can look for the dragon. Actually, Sharp caught out.
Oh, they used the Unleashed Power onto him. He's ignited. He's low. The True Shot Barrage not in its spot, though. Khan, now he's the one getting caught out. Bebop goes golden. Lundorf's onto that backline. That's the Mega Inferno bomb. Already one picked up, but Den does answer back out. Lundorf can look to chase it. He does have the ultimate, uses the showstopper, catches a couple of members, and then finds himself a double kill. Lundorf is burning down, so the answer back out. Poulsen unable to find his opening into the fight.
And time's been bought. Hidden's back. He's respawned. He can move towards his dragon, but ultimately the Herald likely going to stop that being a possibility. They're going to take this tower. I think it just goes down to maybe an auto and... Yep. Auto and the Herald charge. And now they move over towards this dragon. Priskana has TP and aid. Khan has TP now. If they want to bring members here, they can. Lundorf does not have a TP, so he'll be a little bit slower. But Axis...
Ooh, that hook was almost massive. But look at the damage the tower did to Hidden. Just chunks him out. Denvoxy's already started it up, and it looks like the teleport's coming down, but
it's
Vipers are just going to pick up this Infernal Drake. This does put them on soul point here. And Hybrid, that means they have to scrap for the next one.
But like Hybrid potentially could have contested that one, but opted not to. A little bit more defensive play from them. Not sure I agree with it, because I think they really could have gone for that, but ultimately Vipers get the third dragon, but they're still 2,000 gold down. And now I can finally make my point about the Zig. So Satchel, great for zone control, for covering an access point, and good against like melee champions because they have to walk through it, especially tanks. It's great against. But the mines, sorry, are good against tanks because they're good at blocking it. The Satchel is good against squishy champions. And the reason being is out of Zig's kit, it's the easiest to hit skill shot because you just throw it, you instant detonate. And they buffed it recently. It has a shorter cooldown. It ends up being pretty low cooldown once it's maxed as well. And the AP ratio got buffed. So you can actually chunk people out. If you throw a QW onto the enemy Syndra, as Priskana has frequently been doing, you can really threaten them.
Bebop's looking for a hook here. Does not quite find it. As Sharp jumps in. The bomb is massive. Chunking at everyone. True Shot Barrage answers back and Hidden gets dropped down. That's 2 kills for 1. Already been turned around as Den's looking to put some distance between him and the rest of the team. A massive scatter the weak and a shutdown is back to turn it over. Poulsen is trying to do God's work, but he is taken out as a double kill for Merbs is answered out. This is the scaling team winning in the mid game right now.
And it's a fight that Vipers shouldn't have taken. Lundorf had no TP to join. He wasn't in position. And ultimately, you're chasing a Ziggs through a choke point. That is never going to work. And you saw him throw down the ultimate. He threw down the Q and the Satchel. And the damage all bursted together. Just eviscerated Vipers. This Ziggs is getting so strong. He's working towards that Rabadon's. A little bit of gold away. But Vipers, to be this far down, 4,000 gold at 20 minutes, when you're the early focused, early mid-game team, it's concerning. Now, saving graces, Denvoxnir is strong. He's 5-1. Syndra also in a pretty good spot with good farm, and 1 dragon from that Infernal Soul. But it's not good. This is not a good state of the game for Vipers to be in, but it's not over.
No, not over at all, but looking very rough. There's some locked gold in these turrets top side and mid lane, but Viper's kind of just tunneling on trying to snowball off picks and not really finding too much from it. Den's going to head over to the top side of the map. He wants to try and pick up this wave here. And once he's got that Blade the Ruin King, that's kind of like the last major spike the Ezreal's going to hit. Like the other items, obviously, every item you get is obviously a spike in a sense, but the 3-item spike for the Ezreal is kind of like the last big power creep for him. While Merbs already got the Infinity Edge, already got the Essence Reaver. Once he's got that Hurricane, that's when things just start to get really, really scary for the side of Vipers.
Yeah, even this 2-item spike, though, the burst damage available is pretty huge. The Hurricane, it's not really the attack speed, it's the AoE damage is the big factor from it. Yeah. And with a composition like this for Vipers, where you have a lot of squishies who aren't often grouped together, I mean, they shouldn't be. Really, it's the raw AD is the bigger factor here compared to last game, where there was a lot of more AoE damage needed by Mocox. But ultimately now they're putting down the siege. Ooh. There's a threat from the rocket grab.
I don't think I've seen a hook land by Bebop this game.
The fact I have to think about it isn't it?
This is the problem. You've got this Blitzcrank for the early picks and hasn't really been finding them here. Now Bebop maybe trying to save his name, but no, the lantern's too big.
And I understand it because it's hard.
It is hard, yes.
You have the mobility of Lee Sin. You have the fact that Ziggs is never in range of you, ever. Ult's going to stop that.
You got the
reset.
lantern for Merbs. I know there's a lot of tools which makes his life hard.
But still, not great.
But you expect that when you pick this pick. So
Yep.
you've got to kind of play around that. Now, 50 seconds until this Infernal Drake's up. The resets have started to come through. Denvoxney hasn't finished up his Blade the Ruin King, but is as close as he's going to be able to get on it.
Rabadons for the Ziggs.
Oh, lordy, lordy. Poulsen has himself a Banshee's Veil to match that, so obviously he can mitigate some CC, some damage with that. But even so...
Now, interesting, we're seeing the Mikhails come out from Bebop Bully. And what Mikhails actually does more than a QSS is it gives you slow immunity for 2 seconds. If you want to run through that minefield, that's a way of doing it. Right now, Viper's posturing. They want this Infernal Soul in 20 seconds. Good poke on a Priskanet from Denvoxney. He's playing very aggressive, but he takes them back in return.
He's going to take a little bit. Remember, he's got the Vamp Scepter, though. He's got the healing. Sharp's going to miss out on that Q. Bebop, watch for the hook. Has to find it onto a key member here. He's just putting some distance away. Viper's peeling backwards, layering that poke. You can see Lundorf coming down from the top side, looking to pincer in onto Hybrid, who are getting poked out by these Ezreal Qs slowly over time. The Arcane Shots are doing a bit of work here. See, True Shots barrages. Not actually finding a single mark here. Now Lundorf needs to be careful. Jumps in with a showstopper onto one. Cocoon does land. The fight is already on, and the bomb is going to be enough to take out Hidden. The jungler is down. Poulsen gets hooked as the Unleashed Power will secure themselves another one. A double kill's already been picked up, and this is actually the team fight win over to the side of Vipers.
The jungler's still up and available. He's looking!
Oh, Den finds himself the shutdown. The jungler's down. It's a triple kill for Denvoxney. That's going to be Soul. That's the big play that the Vipers needed.
And that was the saving grace that fed Ezreal, and he goes full beast mode in that fight. Not only does he clean up the main fight, but he also sneaks up the end, kills Sharp, kills Priskanet the Ziggs, who was looking to reset and TP, and Denvoxney. Things were looking pretty bad for Vipers with the state of the game, but he drags them over the finish line. He is not in a position to lose.
And now you've got a very, very early Elder Dragon. Every one of these kills, every one of these objectives, like we said, pushes back that timer. Now, 24 minutes on the clock. You said 26 minutes. If they're even, they're going to be happy. It's 24 minutes. Hybrid are even still. Merbs is still going to be an absolute monster at the Elder Dragon fight.
But there's even, and this is different even, because right now, you look at the top lane, you look at the jungle. That's where the gold advantages are for Hybrid. You look at mid and AD carry, and it's heavily in favor of Vipers. And I know which one I would much rather have.
Khan's actually winning this fight here. Showstopper gets used by Lundorf. He's taking some serious damage. Hasn't got the grip built up in time. Throws out the Haymaker. The shield's fairly big. Khan's looking to turn it around. The True Shot barrage misses his mark. Lundorf is just healing up for the moment. And he's able to put some distance away. Khan almost gets a solo kill. True Shot barrage was almost massive by Den as well. He's now got that Blade the Ruin King and his Caulfields.
It's a pretty close fight. Khan opted in, but ultimately wasn't able to close the whole thing. Lundorf might look for something here. He just gets passive regen, so he doesn't need to be hitting things to heal, but ultimately the reset comes in. But yeah, so big factors here is that although the gold is even at the top of the board, Poulsen and Denvoxney have massive leads over their counterpart. The lead for the Hybrid is Sharp and Khan. Aatrox is nice, sure, but Sharp Lee Sin having a lead over Lee isn't really super relevant. And you have to take into account the extra stats from the Dragons and the Infernal Soul. So yes, it's even in terms of gold, but in terms of what the teams actually have, Vipers are ahead right now. But, as I said, scaling in favor of Hybrid, the Infernal Soul definitely delays that a little bit, but it still does go in their favor in the later game. Priskanet's got to be the big one here. He did a lot of damage in the last fight with the ultimate, but ultimately gets taken out and it wasn't enough. Now, I will say that there is levels in favor of Poulsen and Denvoxney as well, both at 15. It's 3 minutes and a half till that Elder Dragon. It has to be contested. You can't give that one up. But for now, Hybrid happy to just farm up some waves. Khan might look for another 1v1 here.
Yeah, this time though, Poulsen is waiting. Gets himself the Unleashed Power, looks for the Scat of the Week, doesn't quite find his mark, gets the slowdown. Khan has the World Ender and run away, but Poulsen's ultimate is on a very short cooldown at this point. That True Shot truly hurts.
Denvoxney just fishing, nearly finds his mark there, but it's not quite enough. Got the Infernal Soul damage as well on top of that.
Don't worry, buddy. You'll land one eventually, before the game ends.
Well, he got one of Mibs when he was CC'd and locked up, but ultimately he killed Mibs in that last team fight for the Souls, so that was a massive factor.
Sure.
We talked about how strong Lissophilios was. You don't do damage if you're dead, though. He's actually gone for the QSS because he doesn't want that to happen again. He basically got ulted, he got cocooned and ulted by the set into a stun, into a rocket grab. So could have taken his hands off the keyboard and the outcome would have been the same.
See the vision control heavily in favor topside towards the side of Vipers. There are a few defensive wards placed down. The blue wall goes down early as well, so that's really nice for the side of Vipers, denying that. They've still got Priskanet. He's still got his Scry available.
It's actually a reasonably fast Baron. At least does a decent amount of damage to it, and Ezreal with the attack speed he has.
And with the Soul as well.
But it's not super healthy, but they brought Lundorf over. That's what makes a difference. So typically, at least would take a lot of damage from it, but Lundorf, he's capable of tanking it pretty easily. Now, Axe is potentially fishing, but could be found himself.
Yeah, he has to be very, very careful. Places a ward down. Bebop and Den are going to be able to clear that ward out, though. So they are creeping that ward line forward further into the side of Hybrid's jungle.
And Hybrid aren't willing to contest this pressure because they know Mibs is bot side. They're wanting to try and find a pick on a Lundorf, 2v1, and then TP both of them in to contest the Baron that will inevitably be started. Briskanet gets ulted, flashes away, but does survive on low HP, and I think this is a signal to go for this Baron now.
Looks like they're a little hesitant to do so. Kakan's looking for the fight. That's going to be the showstopper already used. Lundorf, he just flashes away, puts some distance out there. The turret's going to get started up, and Vipers, they look to start up onto a different side of the map. They want to get this Baron Nashor. Lundorf can continue just to kite away. No one's here really to tank this. It's just Den and Hidden.
They're just giving it up.
Going up for the Baron. It looks like they're going to try and contest the tower here. Lundorf obviously has that Haymaker, so there's a fair amount of wave clear available to him. He's going to take the Infernal Chains. Puts that down just to clear out the cannon.
I mean, they're just giving the battle.
Oh, the bomb! He gets in! Oh, what? What was you doing here? Hidden! I am lost for words! Why would you repel? I'm speechless, Hidden.
He had flash. He could have flashed out of the area. I don't even think it would have killed him anyway.
No, he had like half health. He was fine. I suppose it is the... It's a lot of damage, but even so... Double check, double check. Even so, he had flash. This game's just been ripped wide open by Priskanet. Stealing the Baron. Hidden, you have to get this one. You have to find this one. Otherwise, the game is well and truly doomed. The Elder Drake is up. The hook goes wide. Den Voxney is on the map. He's got a Death's Dance on the Ezreal.
It wasn't even just a fact. So he repelled up, repelled down on the Baron, and then stopwatched instead of smiting. He could have potentially gotten it.
That must have been a misclick, the stopwatch.
Panic.
Pure panic.
Or maybe he thought
Den's
coming
jumped
down.
in. Ooh, that's pretty big. Chunking Merbs out.
Merbs, yeah. He could fast reset, but I think he's just going to lifesteal with the Severum from these camps. Just have the Runans for more so. And they're going to start the Baron up. Reset actually came in from Priskanet, so he can TP back in. He's going up for a flank.
They do need to be careful. Sharp still looking to get chunked out. Bebop, land that hook. The true shot gets flashed. The bomb goes wide. The hook goes wide. The other hook goes wide. And it looks like the Vipers are getting pinned in place, but Denvoxy's going 1v1 with Kakan. The Death's Dance healing means he is so strong here. And look at the ultimate comes out. Bebop misses the hook once again. And looks like they're looking to reset. Paulson comes over the wall, tries to find something else. The Cocoon goes a little bit wide. It's a comedy of errors from a team fight here. And Vipers look to start up the Elder once again.
They got numbers advantage. It's a big thing. Kakan's TPing in, but you might be caught out.
Yeah, Kakan gets himself caught. The hook finally lands. Kakan goes golden. He's trying to buy some time for his team, but he is being liquefied through. He's got a lot of healing to work with, and Bebop's going to take a serious amount of poke on the tail end, but that is going to be the kill picked up. Sharp waiting in the wings. He's not going to be able to deal with Lundorf, though, so he has to hop away and use that blast cone to get some distance between him and the team. Hidden, low health, though. That bomb is not available because Priskanet is down, so they know this is their moment to try and fight this. Can Vipers pick up the Elder Dragon, or will Den get caught? Will Hidden miss the smite? Sharp has got the level advantage. It looks like they're just going to have to give up the Elder Dragon here. However, Sharp wants to see if he can make it happen. The hook does come down. The interrupt's there. That's the execute. Bebop flashes in forward and Sharp falls down. Vipers are back in the game.
Vipers managed to secure it. It was a messy team fight, but Hybrid throwing it away with their TPs there. Now, they shouldn't be able to end here because of the wave clear available to the Ziggs. There's no Baron buff, but really, I mean, a great play to secure the Baron from a misplay from Hidden, but just the team fight.
Oh, that's when you repel right. There we go, Hidden.
What happened in that situation was Paulson just found Priskanet. Priskanet TP'd about where we're looking right now, came into the fight, got hunted down by Paulson and killed, and then we saw Kakan TP in and just run past the whole team, not respecting the lack of vision, and I felt like that was the driving factor for why Hybrid lost that one. They did not TP well. They lost Ziggs early, they lost the Aatrox early, and it just put them massively behind. Now, the gold is in favor of Vipers by 2,000. You can see that.
Scout of the Week is available. It does get used. Kakan has to burn ultimate to get some distance between him. Paulson is doing monstrous damage at this point.
Paulson and Devoxney just doing so much work for this team. Massively ahead compared to the counterparts. Got the Elder Dragon buff, so have that burst potential if you get low on HP, and you can see the build. Paulson only needs to finish off the stopwatch into his Onyas or potentially change it into Void Staff. He's got the Spellbinder for even more burst, and then Devoxney has so much lifesteal available, it's very hard to take him out. There's no healing reduction on the side of Hybrid right now. And it means if you don't kill Devoxney, the poke isn't going to stick.
This is that wave clear you're talking about. No Baron, so they're able to take through these fairly quickly. The turret will go down top side, Den pushing in waves in the mid lane for himself.
And the thing is, they can split pressure like this, and Hybrid are just unable to challenge because they can't fight them with the Elder buff.
Ooh.
And that looks considerable, right? That looks considerable. He's going to heal up. He's got red buff. He's got 2 lifesteal items. He's going to heal that, and it's just not going to remain relevant. Like what? Oh, he tapped away.
I saw it on the bottom side.
Yeah,
it's full health.
Full HP already, you know, and it's just... And actually, I believe the Death Dance also heals from the Infernal Soul.
I assume it would.
Yeah, because all damage don't.
It'd be reduced, but yes, because it's AoE, but yeah. As all of the outer turrets are down. This game on a timer. Starting to get really, really scary here for the team who just need a little bit more time to get going. You got the 3 items on Merbs, but Devoxney's almost got his 6th item. He's almost full build now on the Ezreal.
A lot of combat stats as well. You got the QSS and the stopwatch from Merbs, which are defensives. It's all damage all the time for Devoxney.
The no Elder Dragon did wear off, luckily for them.
Stoneplate coming in clutch as well for Axes, but ultimately shows how scary this Syndra can be, and that even with the Stoneplate, you barely survive. And now they're posturing around the Baron. It is up and available. Some poke.
That's a hook as well. Sharp jumps into the waiting jaws of Devoxney, who slams them shut, kills the jungler just as Baron Nashor spawns. This is Vipers moving towards it. This time, Hidden has the health bar, has the smite, and doesn't have stopwatch to int it with.
Lundorf can tank it, so they have that. They have Locket as well. So this is Hidden saying, look, my role in this team is understood. I've passed the early game. I am a support now. Nax is trying to get some vision and contest, but there's a low chance you're going to be able to manage that on this one. This is where things get scary. Ult's going to come in, but not quite the right time.
He lands that smite.
Considering he had no vision, that was a good attempt, but ultimately it isn't enough to find it. 6,000 now the goal lead between these teams. I think Devoxney can just reset and full build now. And Elder spawning in 2 minutes. I have the extra stats from the Baron.
Triple lifesteal items.
Yeah, and you need healing reduction at this point. If you want to stop this Ezreal, he'll just out-heal everyone.
I want to see Priskanet chunk Den, just so I can see how quick he heals.
Yep.
You got 1 minute until the Elder Dragon's up. I don't even know where you're farming chickens, mate. You're full build, you're full level. That's just greedy.
So he's at 44% lifesteal, and that's not including the Death Dance passive, which is obviously 15% of damage dealt. So essentially, it's like 59% lifesteal. But then you have the bonus of like the Elder... No, sorry, no, the Infernal Soul damage. So basically a lot, is what I'm trying to say. A lot of healing.
Den is going to do a lot of healing indeed.
And it just completely reduces the effectiveness of this poke. It reduces the damage output because if you can't lock him down, he's just going to out-heal everything but the most total of burst coming out from Hybrid. It does mean he is without a defensive, though. Not a true one like the QSS or the mixed scimitar, so vulnerable to a threshold, although it feels like he's not really being threatened by that at any point.
He's so far away from it as well. He's got the shift, he's got the flash. He's playing with complete respect towards Axes on the fresh.
He could have shifted in there, looked for a trade on the moves, but he doesn't opt for it. He's playing it safe. He knows what he's...
Oh! That Q did so much damage. Now Kakan's getting chunked out by Lundorf. And just gets himself the kill with the Haymaker. They do get the kickoff, and Sharp, I think you might be dead, my dude. Denvoxney finds himself godlike as Mervs does throw out the Gravitum ultimate with the Moonlight Vigil. Axis flashes forward for the Flay. Big old Haymaker will buy him some time as he goes golden. The hook is flashed away by Mervs, and Lundorf, he's still alive at this point as Denvoxney is legendary. Mervs is taken out. It's a triple kill over to the Ezreal. The base has been left open as it will just fall down to Vipers here. Lundorf pushes in the mid lane. Denvoxney zones away Priskanet. Now Axis is dead. He's feel comfortable to be able to shift forward. Priskanet's looking for poke, but not going to find anything here. Vipers, 38 minutes on the clock, beats out Hybrid. As Bebop Bully goes for one last sad death.
He gets bebopped straight into the fountain, but ultimately this was a game where even Hybrid with the Ziggs, with the scaling advantage, with a strong early to mid game, they lost out on that team fight, and it just felt like the carries on Vipers were just doing so much more. Paulson and Devoxney, monstrous performance.
I mean, Denvoxney, just for a quick stat, Denvoxney had 21,000 gold that game. Verbs had 15.
Yeah, that's a big discrepancy.
That's a massive discrepancy.
And you saw in the way he was, like, Ezreal, yes, will fall off compared to an Aphelios, but the way he was playing it, the aggression, the consistent poke being landed, the build to just withstand all the Ziggs poke. And then that team fight, he cleaned up his portion of the team fight, and he went, I want more. And he went in and he killed Sharp, and he killed Priskanet, and he got them the soul, and that just snowballed into so much more. And I feel like even though there was that concern that, yes, in the later stage of the game, Hybrid will pull ahead, they never really found their footing. I felt like the Ziggs, although it was a strong pick for them, it just wasn't able to perform because everyone on the side of Vipers was really hard to hit with the bombs. Well, and you don't have anyone to like hold them in. The Ezreal, I think, was a great pick in this situation because it allowed you to skate around the fight.
That's how you deal with the scaling comp as a kind of mid-game comp is you do get ahead and you try to stay ahead of the curve because you know there's a point where you will just fall behind. But
I don't think they strictly did, though. I feel like that they got the dragons. Okay, I think the good takeaway is that they consistently picked up the dragons, so it forced that early soul and it forced the early elder. That is a big factor. But like that fight they took at the elder soul, I don't think that was a fight that was like, oh, we're ahead. Because they win. They were even in goal.
Yeah.
And that was a fight I felt like Hybrid could have won, but it was just Vipers were better. They were just flat out playing it better. Mechanically, the micro, the team fight play was better. That gave them that win. Denvoxney, he was the big point. We're saying he's super fed. He could be the win condition. And the alternative was also the soul being up soon. They forced it. Denvoxney carried. And then from there, they were able to snowball it. Because despite the fact that they were scaling, there wasn't even a window given to allow them to use any of that scaling available to them.
And now what this means is Team Singularity and Vipers were tied in the standings for first. Now Vipers have pulled ahead, and if Team Singularity win their game and Vipers win their game tomorrow, that remains the state of affairs going into the last week of play. Being in first for the last week is so big before you get onto playoffs. It's what every team's was what these two teams are and Dusty are really kind of fighting for currently. And I'm very excited for tomorrow now to see how everything's going to fare out. So let's have a little look at tomorrow's matches to see who will be taking on who. So we will be starting the day out with Dusty taking on Vipers. Then it'll be Nordic taking on Hillerod. Game number 3 will be Team Singularity versus Bifrost, and ending the day with Atlanta Esports versus Hybrid Esports.
And these are some big matches. Game 1 is a pivotal one because it's potentially going to allow Dusty to sort of catch up with where Singularity is right now. But also, I mean, it's just a big one between those two because I feel like if Vipers win it, they're going to pull themselves ahead in terms of the fight for first place. If they lose, it could potentially make it a three-horse race, maybe even more if things change out. I think the Nordavind one up against...
Nordavind versus... I'm going to
I instantly forget as soon as it goes off the screen.
Hillerod.
Nordic against Hillerod. So I think that's a big one where they're sort of contesting in terms of they're both quite even with each other in terms of standings. I think they're both quite close. So I think that'll be a good one. The final game of the night, which was Hybrid against Orlando. I feel like, well, I mean, if Hybrid win it, they still have a potential chance for playoffs, as much as unlikely it is. I'll check that later. But Orlando are firmly out. But I think that's more of a battle of trying to sort of set the bottom of the table. Pride match, we'll say.
Yeah.
But a lot of good matches tomorrow.
A lot of good matches tomorrow. I am itching to get into those matches and see where we're going to be standing heading into our last week of the Nordic Championship. Everyone can beat everyone. I think that's one of the most fun things about the Nordic League. We have obviously seen the demise of Orlando today. They have kind of been knocked out of the running for any chances to make it to the playoffs, but they can still play upset. And like we said, anyone can beat anyone. So we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Until then, good night, and we'll see you later.